studying your last two. I swim med when they turned in. The staring down to mute. And can learn the pole that Sunky died.
When discussing salary and dividend planning, many people focus only on today's taxes. However, experienced advisors know that another question is just as important. Who will be responsible for funding retirement? This is one of the most important conversations an owner-manager can have. At the center of the slide, we see a business owner standing at a crossroads. One path represents salary. The other represents dividends. Both roads lead to retirement, but they rely on very different systems to get there. On the left side, we see the shared responsibility model. When compensation is paid as salary, the owner contributes to the Canada Pension Plan and generates RRSP contribution room. In this approach, retirement is funded through a combination of personal savings and government-supported retirement programs. Salary creates structure. It automatically builds participation in systems that can help support retirement income later in life. On the right side, we see the personal responsibility model. When compensation is paid primarily through dividends, there are no CPP contributions and no new RRSP contribution room generated from those dividends. As a result, the responsibility for retirement funding shifts almost entirely to the individual. The owner must build their own retirement plan through investments, savings accounts, TFSAs, real estate, corporate investments, or other personal wealth-building strategies. Neither path is automatically right or wrong. The key difference is who is expected to do the saving. The process shown at the bottom of the slide illustrates the relationship. A compensation choice leads to a retirement strategy, and that retirement strategy ultimately determines future retirement income. This is why salary versus dividend planning is not just a tax decision. It is also a retirement decision. Before recommending a compensation strategy, advisors should ask an important question. Does the client want retirement savings to be supported by structured systems such as CPP and RRSPs? Or are they comfortable taking full responsibility for building their own retirement wealth? The answer to that question often has a major influence on whether salary, dividends, or a combination of both will be the most appropriate strategy. Now let's compare the two retirement paths that are created by salary and dividend compensation. At first glance, both approaches can provide the owner-manager with similar spending power today. However, the long-term retirement outcomes can be very different. On the left side of the slide, we see the salary route. Think of this as a structured retirement system that is built automatically over time. When an owner receives salary, they contribute to the Canada Pension Plan. Salary also creates RRSP contribution room, allowing future tax-assisted retirement savings. Together, these systems encourage regular saving and provide a framework that helps many people accumulate retirement wealth. As shown by the staircase, salary gradually builds retirement security step by step. CPP participation, RRSP room, regular savings habits, and government-supported retirement benefits all work together to create a more structured retirement plan. The result is a retirement strategy where personal savings and government programs share the responsibility for future income. Now look at the dividend route on the right side of the slide. Dividends can provide flexibility and often allow more cash to remain available today. However, dividends do not generate CPP contributions and do not create new RRSP contribution room. This means the owner must personally build their retirement system. Instead of relying on CPP and RRSP structures, retirement funding may come from investment accounts, TFSAs, real estate, corporate investments, or other personal savings vehicles. The responsibility shifts almost entirely to the individual. This approach can work extremely well for disciplined savers and investors. But unlike the salary route, there is no automatic structure encouraging long-term retirement accumulation. Notice the statement in the center of the slide. Same income today, very different retirement outcomes. That is the key lesson. Two owner-managers may enjoy similar lifestyles today, yet arrive at retirement with dramatically different levels of financial security depending on how consistently they saved and invested throughout their careers. Salary builds retirement systems automatically. Dividends require the client to build those systems personally. Neither approach is universally better. The right choice depends on the client's goals, discipline, investment habits, and overall retirement strategy. As advisors, our role is to help clients understand that compensation planning is not only about minimizing taxes today. It is also about creating the retirement outcome they want decades into the future. The final retirement planning question is not about CPP, RRSPs, dividends, or tax rates. The real question is much simpler. Can the client actually save? This is where many compensation strategies succeed or fail. On the left side of the slide, we see a disciplined saver. This person invests regularly, thinks long-term, follows a savings plan, and reviews their investments consistently. Whether they use RRSPs, investment portfolios, or other retirement vehicles, they have one important characteristic. They take action. Because of these habits, they gradually build wealth over time. Their retirement strategy is supported by consistent behavior, and that behavior increases the likelihood of achieving financial independence and retirement security. Now look at the right side of the slide. This is what we might call the future saver. This person intends to save one day, but not today. They plan to start next year. They do not have a formal savings plan. Investments are postponed. Extra cash is often spent rather than invested. The challenge is that retirement planning cannot be built on future intentions alone. Without regular saving and investing, retirement assets may never accumulate to the level required for long-term financial security. This is why the balance scale in the center is so important. Many people focus on tax savings today. However, retirement security tomorrow may be even more important. Saving a little tax now is valuable, but not if it comes at the expense of building a sustainable retirement plan. As advisors, this is where we must look beyond the numbers and understand the client's behavior. Do they save regularly? Do they invest consistently? Do they already contribute to RRSPs or TFSAs? Do they believe in using CPP as part of their retirement strategy? And perhaps most importantly, what does retirement actually look like for them? The answers to these questions often determine whether a salary strategy, a dividend strategy, or a hybrid approach will be most appropriate. The key takeaway from this slide is that retirement success depends less on choosing the perfect compensation method and more on whether the client consistently saves and invests over time. The best compensation strategy is the one that supports the retirement future the client actually wants and the one they are realistically capable of building.